You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
Victorious! 89.1.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse Radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse Radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Yes, so we are here. We are here. Man, I'm telling you, we are here. We are here. Greetings, greetings, greetings to each and every one that has it locked right here on the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean, and right here in the US, the UK, all over the place. Yes. Well, it is another edition of Reasoning Thursdays with yours truly, Lady T, Mama Asid, and Queen. Man, if you're listening to us via our telephone lines, 667-930-9036. We want to say welcome to you. If you're listening to us via our website, www.dapowerhouseradio.com, welcome. If you are listening through our TuneIn app, we want to say welcome to you. If you are listening through Victorious 89.1 FM, want to say greetings to you as well, and welcome right here to Reasoning Thursdays, each and every Thursdays, where you get the raw truth, no mix up, no blender, the raw truth each and every week. Kicking it off a little bit late today. Technicality and all these things, yeah. But nonetheless, you know, when we have a plethora of things to discuss, you know, I saw the system sometime go on, the devil try to stop with, but you were blessed, highly blessed and favored. I saw it go. You know what I mean? We always come through. Greetings, Mama Acid. How you doing, my sister? Queen, how you doing, my sister?
I got a new rule.
What's that?
New rule say if you don't have a vagina, you don't get to make laws regarding them.
You start already? Huh? You start already?
Why wait?
I
mean, greetings, everyone.
Greetings, ladies. Man, we have some. We're gonna be discussing it tonight. We're going to be reasoning tonight. That's how we like to definitely say reasoning. We have mental illness. Yeah, the world is in.
Wait a minute. Around the world, they have it too.
The world is full of mental illness. So we're definitely going to touch that. The Broadcast Commission, we weren't on last week. We were not on last week. And so we didn't get to touch the Broadcast Commission, Jamaica Broadcast Commission. So we didn't get to touch them. So we're definitely going to be touching that tonight. Illegal destruction of property. We're definitely We're definitely touching that as well tonight. So you know what? In mental illness, world mental illness, it's so many things that is intertwined in the world mental illness. We're touching right here in the US, we're touching all around the world, we're touching in Jamaica, all in the mental illness segment. Broadcast Commission, Jamaica Broadcast Commission. We're going to be touching music and what's the thought on that, what people are saying and what we're saying in regards to that. And the illegal destruction Bernard Lodge in Jamaica and what's going on in Jamaica with the Monday, I lick down things and things. Yeah, we're gonna be
Mm.
talking about that. In mental illness, we got Kanye West in it, Candace Owens, Cartel, Herschel Walker. Yeah, we have all of that. So as we kick it off, ladies, you want to say anything to our listeners? And before I even go that,
Okay. Hey,
blessings, let's gripe. But Tati, big up yourself. She says, good evening, ladies. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. You can get us either on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or all of the other outlets that I mentioned earlier. Our telephone lines, our website, or our tuning apps. Okay. So share the links. If you've gotten the link, definitely share the link. Go ahead, ladies. Who want to go first? Mama Acid Queen, you want to say anything to our listeners before we dive into it?
go ahead, Queen. I'll come after you.
Ah, you come after me. Okay. Man, I'm telling you, there is so much going on, not just in Jamaica, but here in the U.S. and, of course, England. There's
Yeah.
so many topics and things that are facing us. And a lot of folks do not understand that it is facing you directly or indirectly. It's a worldwide situation. So, therefore, we all have to really listen and try to do something about this.
All right. Want to say blessings to Don Minot. Big up yourself for checking in. Mama Acid, what you want to say to our listeners before we dive straight into it?
Hey, I want to bring one more about that same subject because we need to make sure we remind people um, that this is an issue. And someone sent me a little meme, and it was so nice. It says, "Honey, if men could get pregnant, abortion would be a sacrament."
You're touching that. You're touching that. So what we need a special commission, to say to make up to address that situation. We don't need men
But you know
making.
the deal is that men are afraid to discuss it because they found out something very recently at the urology school in Mount Sinai in New York.
Uh-huh.
Urologists are always about the phallus, but they don't understand that the phallus is the clitoris because that's where it comes from. They don't understand anything about the clitoris. They don't understand anything about sex and about peeing. All they want to talk to you about is if there's something that they might be able to figure out. So now there's a whole new movement. There's a doctor by the name of Rachel Gross, and she has a whole book where she's a professor, and she says Vagina Obscura, an anatomical voyage. They're going to start teaching this in medical schools to male doctors. If they want to be a urologist, they're going to also have to understand female urology as well, because women should not have to go to a gynecologist for the same thing that they do. And the issue is that men, I'm going to say it. I really don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Men are afraid of the thing that made them. So, men, don't be afraid. Just learn and make sure that when you're learning, you understand which one is the boss.
Okay. But I really I can understand that because what is happening is that a lot of men they they are not they're against abortion and what have you, and they're
Hmm.
against women having babies, but they don't understand that that's how the world is evolving, and that is something that is very important in life. Children, childbearing, it's very important. And they should know because they should know what it takes to have a child and to raise a child. You see, and a lot of
Yep.
men are shunning from that responsibility.
Yeah, and
Yep.
but I'll give kudos to the guy, to the men out there whom have taken up the responsibility of raising children by themselves, also the ones that are standing up for women rights, rights that each woman should be entitled to for their own bodies, and
Yeah,
that's
but
where,
what doesn't make any sense is that men always want to go there, but they don't want to go there.
yeah. Some, and we can't say all men because it's not all men. Is the we can say maybe the majority, a lot of men, but we're not going to say all men. Because we don't want to come in like we're male bashing, because we're not male bashing. That's not what we're about. We're definitely about
No, we're not
the
No,
male
we're
raw
not
bashing.
truth
men.
of it.
We
We're
just
about
want them to
brothers.
learn.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Dr. Gross is doing a good thing by having this to be a part of the curriculum of the guys, what you call urologist, to learn about the woman parts as well. Yeah, so it's a good thing. All right, well, thanks
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
bit of info right there. That's very very important info right there. And
Well, you know what that's related to?
uh-huh.
That's related to mental health because they say that men who are rapists, they are rapists because they don't have any connection to the pleasure principle and they don't understand it. And if they did, they wouldn't commit rape. This is a study that I also read about mental illness.
Okay.
So they say, long story short, they forgot that we are all brothers and sisters cohabiting the same planet. So they kind of became delusional and imagined these invisible borders, beliefs, and structures separating us. And they started destroying us. And they just, for some reason, thought that they would continue to evolve. But how do you evolve past the factory? So the question is that mental illness when man wants to rape a woman or when a woman wants to try to rape a man because we saw a story this past week where a woman had kidnapped her Tinder date and she had him taped up and put him in her bed and then she cut him and she ordered food and then she went to sleep and when he noticed she was asleep he had to steal something to cut the tape off to get outside so the police could help him. He called the police.
Well,
And when they saw him run outside completely nude, they didn't know what was going on.
that's a no-brainer, Mama Acid. That's a no-brainer. That's
That's
definitely
mental illness.
mental illness. Something like that remind me of a movie. Oh Jesus, what's the name of that movie? Where that woman, I forgot her name, that actress, kidnapped the writer and had him locked up in the room and was beating him and doing all sorts of things to him. But I soon get you the name and tell you. But mental illness. Now, are we gonna kick it off first with Kanye West? Are we gonna kick it off with Cartel, Herschel Walker, or just America or the world in general? Where
Let's
we
start
wanna
You
with
where
gave
we
us
wanna
some
kick it
Kanye
off
West.
at?
info.
You want
Where
to
we
start
wanna
with
start off?
Kanye West?
Or do you all want to start off on the broadcast and get that out the way and then get back to the mental illness?
Yeah, yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Because
or
mental
maybe we
illness
leave the
is
mental
deep.
illness for last and go to, because it's a deep I think that the
It's
mental
deep.
illness is very deep. And so let's jump into the broadcast, and we go into the illegal destruction of properties. And then we're going to done it out with mental illness and world mental illness. Okay. The broadcast, Jamaica Broadcast Commission. All right. They issued a statement or a new thing now where they're broadcasters can no longer play edited songs in Jamaica. This is in Jamaica. It can't be played on on airwaves. You know, songs with sex, guns, gun lyrics, scamming. You know, and things that are inciting violence, inciting drug use, things like that. So, before I give my thoughts, what are you all thoughts on that? And while I'm pulling it up, because I didn't know we weren't going to start there first, but while I'm pulling it up, I'll read a little of their statements. Go ahead, Queen. You want to hit at that first, or Mama Acid?
Well,
Let Queen
well, the
go.
broadcast. Okay, you want me to go? Okay, the broadcasting. What I'm thinking, I'm saying that makes no sense. It's a waste of taxpayers' money because everything that Jamaica do, they're using taxpayers' money. Um, and I think that's a waste because there's so many other media, that can play these music. You have Spotify, you have the social media, you have all of these outlets for them to send their music out. So why waste all that money to do all of this propaganda? Because that's what it really is. Election time should be coming up soon. So they're putting out all of these things out there for people to gravitate to because, I'm sorry, quote unquote, the so-called high society people in Jamaica, they want to hear these things. And by them saying these things, then maybe they'll have these folks vote for the next coming uh, prime minister. Okay, I hate to say it, but it's true. Allegedly, they need to really, really, really consider what they're doing in terms of spending these money. There's so many people out there that are homeless that need that money, and they should do that instead of paying, attention to what these guys are doing. Because I don't think it's going to stop them from violence. I don't think this is going to stop the violence in Jamaica. It's deeper than that. It's corruption. It's all of these things surrounding it. It's not just the music. So that's my opinion.
All right, Mama Acid.
I said,
This has been such a long conversation about why for years we've been screaming about foundation music, foundation, 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 saying we need to calm dance all down. And if they got these rules where they can't do it on stage, like how they shut Sting down about 10 years ago for it, it seems to me that they should have long time ago used the same rules in broadcasting because it is a problem. These are children who are listening to it, who are most impressionable, and then they begin acting it out, and then the adults have to address it. So why not start at the top and tell the adults no? Because if you want this type of music played, play it in your dance hall. Don't have children in the dance hall. If you're not 18 or older, can't get in the dance hall, can't get in the bar, then you should not be having access to it. If they want to listen to it on the YouTube or they want to listen to it on some other streaming service, that's something altogether different. But the real issue is this. We keep talking about these labels that are on the CDs where they got a label saying, you know, if you're not 21, if you're not an adult, this music is explicit. You're not supposed to be able to buy it. So if they can't buy it, then why can they turn on their radio and hear it? I agree.
yeah,
Shut it down. Enough murder music, enough rape music, enough hate music. Shut it down.
All right. Well, I ag-
Hey, Lady D, I bet you didn't expect that to come out so quick, did you?
I didn't I didn't expect for you yourself to even say shut it down. You know,
Shut it
Yeah.
down,
I
right?
I thought that you were gonna go another direction, another direction. Pick up yourself, Sister Julie. Julie says the movie is Misery. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, the movie that I was talking about previously was Misery, where the lady. But okay, before we go back there with the mental illness and so on, I agree. I you know I agree to an extent of it. Um, and why I agree to extent, because I think the music is very lawless. It's like you said, Mama Acid. Our children are in the vehicles and they are hearing these music, and I would hope as well that America would take somewhat of a stand as well with the music, because no matter how much you edit, try to really kind of sort of edit a lot of those music, you know what those words are, and a lot of those words still slip out. The So I agree in that aspect of it, but when it comes to using other maybe, let's say, songs that are depicting some type of love, you know and even making love, and all of those music that are not in a derogatory formal way, all of those music are going to be banned. It's and I'm totally for the culture music, but we also need some type of fun music, not fun music that is going to incite violence, incite rape, incite drugs, none of that. But you have fun music that even can be used with other words to make it sound a little bit, that to make it not a little bit, to make it sound a lot better, because there are music back in the 80s that used to
Lady
play.
G,
Uh-huh.
pinchers and pliers.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Okay.
music that incited love.
Okay. Are we
Yes.
talking about the sexual part or are we talking about the murder part? Because Murder She Wrote is a real song. And I have to be honest and say, I love the song.
I
I
mean,
like pinchers and
there's
pliers.
that is my only thing to it, is that there's some music that I feel that should not necessarily be banned, depending on the way that it's worded, as long as it's not inciting sexual violence. um Don Minot made a comment. That type of music, I've heard the reggae genre on the world stage, that type of music is not a true representation of reggae. I agree, but then
Right?
in like I'm telling you, I'm on the fence with it. The music that, yes, it hurt reggae in the form of, when you're talking about all these taking drugs, and all of those music like that. Yeah, I'm not into those Molly music and all of those gun, bust up head and all of those type of music. Yes, we all know that definitely those are music that definitely needs to be banned and don't need to be played on radio, because there is a time and a place for everything. But
But
as Mama Acid said, with one and two songs, there are songs out there. I was reading something where they said a song such as even She's Royal won't
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able
I don't
won't be able
understand
to
yeah,
that.
play
well,
won't be able to be played anymore on the airwaves. So I think
well,
we,
why?
because of the, I guess the content of it, where it has a little sexual endorsements in it,
Sexual or
you know
yeah.
it that's a song as well that would be banned. And so
Okay,
I
what about
think
Bob
that,
Marley?
huh
Thing about Marley that would also get banned if that was the rule. Because see, this is why I'm saying there needs
you
to be
know
a
I
classification
want to
for
give you
foundation
some love.
music.
I want to give you some sweet, sweet love. I mean, songs, there are certain songs
Look,
that
look,
has
talk
a
about the
different,
big split, talk about Exodus, talking
You
about
see, that's
smashing
why I
people
said
heads,
it's
politically
shooting them crazy
motivated.
ball heads.
and
I shot the sheriff.
that brings me back as well to something that we a conversation we had maybe a couple of months ago with even Mackie Conscious, where he said there was the reggae music fraternity needs a commission or a board, and we spoke on that as to
Mhm.
how would that
Yeah.
how would that be put
Yeah.
together, whom will be the
Hmm.
persons to make these calls. And I
Right.
think in a case such as this is something that really needs to be thought about, because we have one
Yeah.
person basically, or persons in a commission that is making decision on certain songs that I don't think that they should be. So that brings me back to a conversation that we, like I said, that we had previously. I was with Mackie, Don, and ourselves,
Yeah.
where we were talking about this commission and this board, that whom can really listen to these music and know that these what music is derogatory, that's not made for radio or television, and what is made for dance hall. And they are responsible for making these calls, more than to
Yeah.
generalize all of the music. You know what I mean? More than generalize
Yep.
all of the music. So that is where
Yep.
I stand on the point. I understand and I definitely agree that there has to be a line, because the music is out of order. It is
Yeah.
lawless. It is distasteful. A lot of what's going on now. And even though we may play some that has some edited in it, you can still know the words that are coming after it. And we have children in
Okay.
vehicles, in cars, in homes, all of that, listening to it. Yes, also, my next point is I understand where when a lot of the artists and them was upset in regards to it, because they were saying, well, it's not really affecting us in any form of way, because a lot of us don't even listen to music. We listen to social media, we listen to Spotify, we listen to YouTube. we
Mhm.
we draw our musics from those areas. That's where that we draw our listenership, not music, our listenership, from those entities. So I totally understand, both sides of it. And like I'm saying, I am in the middle of it. I'm for it, and with structure. You know what I mean? And I think that's something with this board that is definitely needed. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Queen, you were gonna say something. Mama Acid, you were going to say
Lady D.
something. Yeah.
Lady D. I
Uh-huh.
want to jump in before you go.
Go ahead. No, no,
I
no, we weren't
really think
going. Go ahead.
this is going to end up being just like this situation they're having here in America, where they're using the lyrics in the songs to convict criminals. And if these singers are out there singing about their crimes they committed, hint, hint, cartel, then they are going to go to jail, and they're going to take that music and bring it right into court. And they're going to say, look, he is confessing. So now they got this new thing where they're trying to say, you can't use what somebody says in the music in court. Well, now, that's questionable, okay? That's going on here in America. Watch it make its way to Jamaica.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, we have to really look at what they're saying, because I mean, all these songs, a lot of these songs that we're glorifying as reggae, as even Bob Marley and those, a lot of them sing about weed. I man don't smoke the chalice kind to bother no one. You know what I mean? I mean, there are songs out there that, even though it's reggae, they're speaking of, yes, experiences. They're speaking of their feelings as to um what they've been through. But I think that there is a better way to do it than the explicit way that they are doing it now. You know, also a question was raised last week when we didn't come on. I got some emails and stuff where persons were saying, does that not, what people are singing, is in regard to their experience. Yeah, but once again, like I said, and that message came from Kim out of Philadelphia, and yeah, they're speaking on things that they experience, and I don't think half of them is speaking on things that they experience. They're just talking to sell music. You know, they're singing to spell to sell music, and they need to start doing it tactfully, a better way to do it. And once again, like I said, there's things for the airwaves, and there's things that are not. But
But again, the record industry is what is doing all of this, because if you don't produce certain type of music, then they don't even look at you. You understand me? And the goal is for these artists is to make money. It's not what some of them. It's not really what they're producing or what they're thinking, but it's to make money. That's the goal for them,
but
to
Queen
make
is also
money.
a
And if they
demand.
produce certain,
Queen is also a
say that again.
demand. I mean, yes, let's take it off of the let's take it off of radio, and let's go to just the content of music at this point. You know,
Right.
the demand is there. So that
Mm-hmm.
will bring us back into even mental health of our youths. You know,
Right.
that they are craving for music that is destructive. It's something to really even think about.
It's all programming. It's all programming. I'm sorry to say it, but if we allow this type of negative programming to continue, the planet is going to explode. It is already at the point where it wants to. So what more do we need to do? Just go ahead and tell all of you, here, you come out of the womb, here's your gun. Here, here's your 5,000 bullets. Go out and commit murder so we can kill you by the time you too.
Okay, but let's say on radio, let's say this is going on radio, Acid. Then what about television? What happened to all of these cops and robber shows? And
Okay, that
all of
should have been
these,
gone a long time ago. We've been talking about the programming, the
yeah.
negative programming, and how the negative
I think
programming
it has
is
to
is,
be it has to
is
be
going
broad.
across every border.
Yeah, it has to be broad. And how do they get to stop even these murderous music on YouTube, on Spotify, on all of those other areas that are playing these music? Because no matter what, our
One thing they
children is still being exposed to it.
one, one thing they're going to have to do is understand that there has to be a regulatory agency and a set of rules.
Yeah.
If there's no regulatory agency and there's no set of rules, nobody knows exactly what to do. And one of the issues that happened when I was working in music, and I was quite touched by it, was the fact that certain companies will take the music that has come out, that's nice music, and then they will put another artist over it and do a crap song. So when people are looking for it, they hit that because it comes off on these rhythms. That's the first thing that needs to stop. And we keep talking about this, the rhythm thing. So VP started it, okay? And I want to go ahead and give them credit for what they did. VP, Vampire Pirates, not a real record company, okay? For those who want to understand, they steal more than they give. And I want to also say this, since I'm thinking, worst scenario, remaking bad records. Okay, now I want to have Queen talk a little bit about this particular remake of some Buju Banton songs. Queen,
Yeah,
can you hit that for us?
yeah, yeah. We was talking about that earlier, about
With Sizzler.
how what they're doing now with the Batman Dead and what have you. And there's a remix of that song coming out, because this individual is saying that you should have freedom to sing whatever you want to sing. But then it's causing so much other issue where they're killing these gay people. I mean, they're really, really killing these people. There's an incident in Jamaica where this individual, he was shot in his head and they chopped up his head, all in the name of Batman song and that
Can I
he's
sing it?
gay.
Can I say the lyrics?
Okay,
Maggie G,
no,
can we
don't say the lyrics. Don't say the lyrics. And
No.
Don Minett made a comment as to black music is not the only music that promotes violence. Rock and metal,
That's
which
a
is
different violence.
predominantly white
True,
music,
true.
promotes violence. He says music is a reflection of society. And yes, it is, but there's a tasteful way to present it. That's what I'm saying. Right
So
now,
how do we get
it's so
these?
raw. Music now that is being produced is so raw. And again, Don, just as you said, reggae, black music, rap, reggae, dancehall, they're not the only music. So, like Mama Acid said, it has to be something set across the board, period,
But
to
how do we
curb
get
these
these
music.
people, these big companies, these mega millions dollar companies to heed to these requirements? It's not easy
Sanctions.
because it's all about money.
Sanctions. Sanctions. Don't let them come in the marketplace. So if they keep putting out that product, just ban them from the marketplace. Do not allow them
And
to
who's
put
gonna
their
do
product
that?
into that country's
Money. Remember,
marketplace.
money flows.
It's a money
Money
thing.
flows from them to the government. There's so much corruption. Come on now.
So there's the real issue, isn't it? We went right back to it, didn't we, Queen?
Yeah,
Okay, we sure did.
it's a money
We
thing.
sure did. That corruption. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody's getting a cut out of this. It's not just the music industry, but everybody else is getting a cut out of it.
Okay, and then I got another one. Throw this one in there, Queen. So we saw the contest for the songs, right? Who was the
Okay.
one who was having the contest for the songs? Babsy Grange. Now, she's the
Okay.
Minister of Culture. Why are we
Of
not holding
culture,
Babsy
yeah.
responsible for any of this? Why are we not questioning the Honorable Babsy Grange about it?
Okay, but like we said, the what do you call it? They're all
Well-
working together.
Well,
So,
is she not?
They make the laws, but yet still they work together to break them.
Well, is she not a part of the commission that came up with this banning thing?
Yes.
They had to.
She's
They
in
have to
charge
have.
of it.
They
Yeah.
had to have consulted her as well in regards to the music that is playing and make the decision of that. Don says it's a concerted effort by these big record companies to promote sex and violence because that's what sells. And that's exactly,
Yes.
you are
That's what
100%
I'm
correct,
saying.
Don.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's it. That's what the children now is gravitating to. And they're not selling
Yeah.
music and they're not making music for us, the older persons. I mean, the more mature
Mhm.
individuals. They're making it.
There's no more musicians. Do you remember when Don was talking about that? There's
Yeah.
no musicians. Everything now is a clip put in at 808.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
is kill, kill, kill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is reflected in society now, as Don is saying, because that's all that is happening with our young people. Is kill, kill, kill.
Yeah. It's programmed in their brains because they listen to it every day, every minute, every hour.
And
They're
that's
in
why
school
when
listening
and
to it.
Queen, that's why when
mean-
artists come up and they talk and say, well, I'm not music doesn't kill.
Mm.
You have it
Right.
all based off the mentality of certain individuals, if music
Yeah.
kills or not.
Yeah. Again, back to mental illness.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's why
We
we're
said
gonna go
worldwide
back there. We're gonna
mental
end up,
illness.
we're gonna totally finish right there we're gonna totally finish with mental illness because everything when it's all said and done wraps back into mental illness.
Mental illness.
Yeah,
Amen.
it all wraps back up into there, you know. So yeah, that's our take really on the thoughts of the Jamaica Broadcast Commission and their thoughts with banding music. I think I applaud them for the effort of
But I
wanting
don't
to
think
do
it's gonna
that,
work.
but it is going to work because they can't play it, and it's fining. It's going they're going persons are going to be fined. Agencies are going to be fined for doing it. Um, Trishana McFarland says, young people like vulgar music. We all should consider the psychological and behavioral impact. I support the ban because too much is happening in Jamaica. So we have to start somewhere. I agree. Yeah, we have to start somewhere, but then we need to find a way to tweak it. There has to be a way as well to tweak it so that the songs that are good songs that does speak about um power and speak about love can still be played. What's your thoughts?
I pray on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because once again, like we said, certain songs that are good songs, and we
Mm-hmm.
used and as I used She's Royal, as I used some of Bob Marley's songs. Are we going to ban a lot of the songs that Bob Marley as well sing that wasn't meant to incite any type of necessary violence, but to empower
Okay. I
persons?
just thought of something too, and
Hmm.
not to cut you.
No.
When the two sevens clash,
Okay.
what they gonna
What
do about
about it?
songs like that?
Actually?
What they gonna do about it? What they gonna do about two sevens clash? When the two sevens clash, Lord have mercy,
Yeah.
we are gonna dead. That's what it says in the lyrics. Who is the two sevens? You see, this is the issue that I'm now concerned about because something Queen said kind of made me stop for a minute and think. It's just like where you said, Lady D, what about these old Bob Marley tunes? Queen said, how far are they going to reach back?
Okay.
Mhm.
When they start reaching back, what are they reaching back for? Does this grandfathering process include everything, or where does it start? Where are they going to set the guidelines? Because quite frankly, it's a lot of stuff that they could get rid of. You know, I mean, there's plenty of songs out there about cocaine. There's look, what's that tune? Cocaine, all in my brain. I can't think of the name of that guy who did that song, but all of these songs was not just in dancehall. These songs is in regular culture because you can go on cruise ships and some of these DJs who don't know no better, they play mixes of old tunes. And some of them have these bad songs in them. There
And
was a
then you see
DJ
the
fired.
thing too. You see
There
the
was a
thing is
DJ
too,
fired off of a
Acid,
cruise ship recently
it's a lot
because
of
of that.
countries. It's a lot of different countries, and all of these entities have to come together and decide. Because if one Jamaica decide this is what we're going to do, there are other countries that are not going to follow through. So they have to all come together. All of these different countries, they have to get. And like Lady D said, and even Don said, there has to be a committee, a committee overall, general, like how you have the UN. They have to come together in terms of this music industry and decide, okay, as a group, we're gonna stop these things from happening. Because if Jamaica stops, America is still continuing to do what they're doing, then it's still not gonna be effective. So it has to
But
be where it's a collective effort. It can't be just one-minded, one country. It has to be a collective method. And like Don said, It's not just reggae music that this is happening to. It's not just black music. It's happening. It's in country and western. It's in. I mean, you name it. It's in
It's
there.
in there. The violence is in there. We have Donna Moody says, "Good evening, all. Greetings to you. Greetings to you, sis." Don Minot also says the Jamaican government needs to address the socioeconomic problem that's affecting the poor. Seek international assistance to help fight illegal gun trafficking. Definitely,
Amen.
definitely,
Amen. Yes.
definitely. And to piggyback,
Yes.
Queen, off of what you said, collective effort, that
Yes.
also brings us to where they need to get into these outlets, the outlets as well, you know,
Okay.
these
Yes.
YouTubes,
Yes.
these Spotify's, these what's
Mm-hmm.
the next one, all of these outlets that are selling these music. um it
Mm-hmm.
just, if it just needs to be, it just needs to be addressed in every way, and not just on Jamaican music.
The
Okay, Lady D,
broadcasting.
let me throw this back at you too.
Okay.
Now, the UK has a culture commission.
Okay.
Certain songs can't be played on the radio in the UK. Certain songs can't be played on the radio in France.
Mhm.
Certain songs can't be played on the radio in Germany. You know, it's certain places where they take a harsher look at inciting violence than they do in the United States. And funny that Jamaica, which likes to model itself after the United States, is now modeling itself after the United States with this music problem, with the problem of economics, and with the problem of violence. All of it is all in tow. So I just want to say that when satellite TV came and then next cable, that was the end of Jamaican culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True. True.
Yeah.
True.
Jamaica needs to shut down outside cultural influences for a while in order to reacquaint itself with itself. Which, okay, Queen, you was talking about the maroon identification card.
Right. Right. Yes.
The
And I
Maroons are
think we need
teaching
to
their
address
culture.
that. Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Blossom says, "Good night, ladies. Sometimes it's not the words that they saying, it's the beat I listen to. And sometimes the beat make you bop your head because it's catching. I don't even know what they're saying." And that's a lot of it. That's a, you know,
Yes.
that's true, Blossom, because
Yes.
there's sometimes a lot of the words, even from 80s music from 80s, from 1980s and stuff. There's a couple of songs I don't even know, but the rhythm so nice, you just a go on and but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I agree with that too, Blas. I definitely agree with what
Blossom,
you stated
you
there.
know what? Blossom also knows exactly like we do about these rhythms, okay?
Yeah.
Because you can hear one rhythm with 15 artists on it, and every one of them got something different to say. But there's no
Say,
standard because you got companies that'll just take the rhythm because they pay a royalty fee of zero.
Ah,
They just take it and make another tune because once they change one thing about it, they consider it a whole new tune. Unless, of course, it's one studio who puts it out and they put it out specifically for a particular sound system. That's how it really went before, but that's not how it goes now. So
I,
until we can reestablish real boundaries, I think somebody needs to just say, wait.
I've just gotten a text. My sister Juliet says, "I'm wondering if they're going to ban Night Nurse."
They would have to, wouldn't they? Because it talks about rape, it talks about prostitution and sex work.
I mean, so that's where
talks about drugs.
that's where I'm saying with a lot of these songs. I mean, I don't know if
Mhm.
what's his name? Oh my God, the guy for the Jamaica Commission. Oh Jesus, I don't know if he really fully looked over, you know, and whom did he speak with and consult. And I think the thought of having a commission um to assist with regulating certain songs.
You see, lady, a lot of these things are decided in Parliament. Parliament. Remember, I was talking to you guys about how I was watching the Prime Minister's speech, and everything that he said, they're banging the desk in accordance. I
Yeah.
mean, half of what he was saying didn't really make sense, but they're banging the desk in accordance. These things are decided in Parliament, and when it's decided in Parliament, then they come out and they bring it to the public. They
Yeah.
make these decisions way ahead before anybody else knows about it. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the housing situation and tearing it down. And that comes under the same situation. This was discussed in Parliament. They decide this is what we're going to do. And
Yeah.
the people don't have to know what we're going to do till it's on them. It's
Yeah.
up on them.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
So we're gonna get ready to close out the
That's corruption.
Jamaica Broadcasting
All right.
Commission's decision on banning the music, and we thank each and every one for their comments on that. And if you want us to address a little bit more of it, send us a hit on dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. That's dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com with your thoughts as well on it. A real commission of musicians and artists that can come together and say, okay, let's put this together and let's ban this or not. This is not acceptable. That is not acceptable, and so on for the radio. As you know, so we just gonna move on. They want to say big shouts to Dr. J. How you doing? He said he's listening in. So big ups to you. Big ups to 89.1 FM Victorious Radio. Lodge up yourself. As we move on, ladies, did you all have any final words on the Broadcasting Commission?
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Asid.
Go ahead, Queen.
Well, all I'm saying is that until these entities that I spoke about come together, I don't think this is going to work, because there are other entities out there that are contributing to these music being out there in the public. So if Jamaica decide that this is what we're going to do, and America decide that we're going to continue to do what we're going to do, then, because America have a lot of influence on the Caribbean island. So therefore, just like closing everything, they follow what they see happening in America. So unless America comes together with the Caribbean islands and the other countries and decide that we're going to put a stop to these kind of music, then I don't think it's going to really work. You know, and that's my belief and my contribution. That's the way I look at it.
What about you,
really.
Mama Acid? You want to say anything before we wrap that?
I just want to say that if they don't have a historian and they don't declare a benchmark point of where they're going to start looking, and they don't attach the laws and the rules directly from the Constitution that already stand in regards to this, you're just going to be setting up a whole bunch more confusion.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have a good foundation, because if they
Yeah.
don't have a good foundation, they're just going to be having more confusion ensue.
All
Okay.
right. All right. Well, that's where we're closing out with the Broadcasting Commission. Our next reasoning topic is illegal destruction of property. What took place in Jamaica. And once again, we were not on the air last week, so we're refreshing and touching a lot of things this week. Don Minot says that this is much bigger than music, and that's a good way to end it. It is definitely
Yes.
much
Yes.
Intellectual
bigger.
property right.
Yeah,
All of it.
it is much bigger than music, much bigger than just the lyrics
Yes, ma'am.
and so on. The people in the back that is spearheading this, you know, yeah, it's much bigger than just music. Illegal destruction. Who want to bite at that first?
Let
There's
Queen
so
have it.
much
And you
things-
know what? I just want to say this.
With
Queen.
so
Wait a
much
minute,
things
Queen.
going on with
Queen,
that.
wait a minute,
Yeah.
Queen. Go ahead, I said.
Sorry.
I want to just ask you to do one thing for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about this, make sure that you tell the history from when you remember us starting to discuss these types of things, please.
Yeah. So you want me to start?
Go ahead.
Yes.
All right. We have been discussing this for a couple of years now on the Powerhouse Radio Reasoning Thursdays. We have been talking about all of these properties that was being bought by these individuals and being sold to the poor people for X amount of money, not knowing that they had no real rights to these properties. Um, for example, I was listening to something where right now they're trying to get control of Winifred Beach. Um, this beach is a public beach, but they're fighting to close it down. And the reason why they're fighting to close it down is because they want ownership of that beach, private ownership of that beach. Most of the beaches on the North Coast, they are owned private. They're privately owned. No Jamaicans can go onto those beaches.
Mhm.
Okay, the waterfront is controlled by outsiders, not by Jamaicans, but by outsiders, by large company outside of the U.S., outside of Jamaica, that are building these elaborate hotels, and some of these hotels, you as Jamaicans can't even enter into these hotels. So it's really sad, not just tearing down these folks building that they spend all this money to buy the brick, the mortar, the cement, all of
The
this
sand.
they spend money to buy, and yet still you just come in and just tear it down with no solid modification. That is ill treatment of black people. You see what I'm saying? And we need to stand up, not just the Jamaican, but the desperados. Everybody needs to stand up and put a voice in and say, this can't keep going on. This has to be stopped. And it's not now. It's been going on for a very long time. It's just that now it's being publicized because of, like Mama Asid said earlier, the media. The media, and now you have Facebook, you have all of these entities that is showing you what is really going on, and the corruption that is within the system. Because part of this is done by people in Parliament again. Okay, because
It's
this
not part of
Can I
it.
individual.
call the name?
It's
Can I
not
use
part of
the
it.
A
It's all
word?
of it.
You
It's
call
all
the
of it
name. I knew
being
you was gonna
done.
call the name.
It's all of it being done.
This
All of
this
it is being
individual,
done.
she's a principal. She's on the board of the Parliament board. She is uh, several other things, but yet still she was arrested on Monday. Arrested because what she has been doing is selling these properties to these poor people, not telling them the reality of owning these properties. And now they're going in and bulldozing it because they want to sell these properties to private investors.
Mama
Booyah.
Acid.
How about that? How about that? Mouthful. It's a
Ah,
mouthful.
go
How
ahead,
about
Mama
that?
Acid.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know you
You
love
see,
this.
I love the way Queen explained it because Queen told the whole story. She
Right
just
there.
didn't want to say the name.
Mhm.
So what I'll do
And I
is,
know
because
you're
we
a
don't
name
want to
caller.
punish,
I know you're a name caller.
well, I'm gonna do this because we got that A rule here on the Powerhouse has an A rule. So if you're gonna say something, you have to use the word alleged.
Yes.
Alleged.
It
Yes.
is alleged that
Okay.
the alleged crime was committed allegedly with the assistance of certain individuals allegedly in government. And we say allegedly because, quite frankly, we've been watching them for a while and we've yet to see them do anything for the citizens other than steal and commit corruption. And this is not alleged. These are facts. So we are not going to call the name because we know that they are watching and they are listening because we really. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to all the other people on the internet who are now listening to us. Thank you, and we're glad you're going back and doing our shows over again. But sometimes y'all leave out a lot of facts. Y'all should listen more carefully because if you go back a couple years, in the archives, you can get some history on all these things we're talking about, like Queen just told you. And it all started. When did it all start? It all started back when we were talking about them bringing in the radar, bringing in a radiation detector. Because when we found out they brought in the radiation
I mean, we were talking about the radiation.
why.
We talked about the radiation detector about 10 years ago, Asid, and we could never find it. At
when
least
we first
10
started
years.
talking about the natural wealth of minerals and how they had found gold and uranium.
Yes.
And what they were going to do to keep it covered up.
Well, before we go any further, Donna Moody says, it is worldwide. It's a real estate Ponzi. They tear down landmarks right here in America. Don Mine, it says, Jamaicans should not support the capture land culture. Politicians are guilty of turning a blind eye to the capture land culture because these capturers are potential voters for their respective political parties. Thoughts on that statement? Thoughts on that statement? Anyone want to buy that statement that Don made? Politicians are.
But you see, the thing is, lady, it's not the capture land are being captured, but there are land that they are so-called saying that is captured, but it's being sold. It's being sold by people in government that are using. Well, they're hiding themselves. They're disguising themselves, right? And they'll get a little small man out there to say that, oh, I'm selling this to you. But really and truly, when you go deeper, you see that it's coming from people that are in government, people that are in high places, people that are looked upon as role models. They are the ones that's selling these lands. It's not just being captured. They get a little payoff. They're like, you're going to give them a little money on the side and take that piece of property. Yes, Asid.
When you do this, right? When you buy this piece of property and you have to register it and you have to pay taxes on it, somebody is involved in the process. And if that person is involved in the process, they involved all the way up the chain.
Juliet says that's the way they took away so many towns, cities, and countries. Okay. Don says not in all cases, Queen. But my thought on this capture land culture. When we say captured land, isn't the land of Jamaica Jamaican land? When we say captured land, does these land belong to government? Is it government land?
They're saying the sugar industry owns these lands.
No, they're saying some of it comes from the housing trust also.
But who gave all of these people these lands? Who gave the government these lands? Who gave the sugar people these lands? The capture culture has been going on from Wappy Kill Philip. It's not the country is not like the politicians are turning a blind eye. They captured the land too, and they're selling it and they're profiting from it and not helping anyone in the country of Jamaica but themselves. Donna says exactly, they're selling properties that they don't have deeds or titles to. They create fraudulent paperwork to sell. It's the people's land. It's the people's land. And the people should be able to live on these land. And if you want them,
Here's
and
a
if you
question.
and if you want them,
Here's
and if you want them to pay, then okay, come to them, sit down, and let's come to an understanding of what we need to pay, or come what we need to pay or what we need to do to stay here. But the entire Jamaica, all of the land in Jamaica is captured. You were going to say something, Mama Acid. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that the land treaty, okay? A couple years ago, you asked me a question about the Spanish and the British land treaty, about the Maroon and Maroon land. You remember the conversation about Maroon land?
Yep.
Yeah. So recently we had that conversation again about why the chief of the Maroons was able to tell these white people to get up off of their land, and why all of a sudden people in Parliament had to shut up and back up. Do we remember that?
Kind of,
so let me refresh you on what that ruling was about. When the prime minister sided with the colonialists in trying to say that the treaty with the Maroons, which was from the 1700s, by the way, the 1700s, the Maroons was from their treaty is from the 1700s. When the Maroon Treaty was put into effect, it does not even, the Constitution of Jamaica does not overrule the Maroon Treaty, because the Maroon is their own private nation. Jamaica does not own that land. Jamaica does not rule that land. Jamaica cannot control that land. The Maroons were the first actual legal inhabitants after colonialism.
But they captured it too, because they ran up to the hills where they were able, where they were strongest to fight. And so all the land in Jamaica is captured.
Nope. That's not exactly how it happened.
Okay, one moment. Don says some belong to government and
What
some are
they did
privately.
was,
Hold on, Acid. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Some belong to government and some are privately owned, and people have taken it upon themselves to build on these properties. Okay. Go ahead, Acid. Complete your thought and then we'll address Don's statement. Go ahead.
And I do want to go back to the real estate too.
Go ahead.
When we saw the treaty go into effect, when Jamaica gained so-called independence I'm gonna stop saying that. Okay, because that's not true.
I'm gonna answer your question in a minute, Don.
When Jamaica first started flying its own flag and printing its own money and then making its own stamps, even though it had some old dead white woman's picture on it. Now, that was the beginning of a different type of a constitutional agreement. That is domain. They cannot take the Maroons' land because the Maroons were there long before Jamaica was established, okay? Because Jamaica was not established under the British or under the Spanish, neither, okay? They killed off all the original inhabitants. The Arawaks were murdered mercilessly, and Jamaica was repopulated with slaves. So once you start mixing your population, some of those people are going to know some of those other people. Maroons saw people that spoke their language, and they started recruiting them, and they took them into the bush. They would sneak away, and they would go into the bush until they had a nice-sized army. Nanny, the whole story of Nanny going up on the mountain, they went up on the mountain, and they said, we're going to get rid of these Spanish. And they went down, and they started just massacring. And once that happened, the Spanish knew that they could not control them, and they needed to leave them alone. So they said, well, we'll negotiate and we'll set up a treaty. That's what they did. So when the British came, the British tried the same thing, and they lost just as many heads. And except the British understood before that happened that they were going to lose heads, where they just didn't try to be like the Spanish and just think they were going to run up there, because when they ran up there, oh boy, they lost everything that they took up there. And it was funny because they wanted to go back and go and see if they could get this and that. Now, they also made the mistake, the Spanish, of bringing along black people, the slaves, to carry stuff like their cannons and stuff like that they wanted to take up there. So when that happened, the Maroons said, great, bring us all your stuff. We'll sit here and wait for you. When they got up there, they let them get up there. Then they took all their stuff, and then some of them, they sent back with a message about what happened to the other ones.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Don says
That was the first independence. That was the first independent country and town in Jamaica. Jamaica was founded on that.
okay.
One out of many. Okay, that's them standing there. So when this land in Jamaica, as you say, capture land, started to actually be set aside, it was under the British. They were the ones who established all these plots and these different areas. And one of those areas specifically is Drax Hall, okay? Right on the North Coast. I want to talk about Drax Hall for two reasons. One, it is the actual economic center of Jamaica's wealth because that is where the very first smelting took place and aluminum was smelted there. And everything that they smelt, that they send out, well, bauxite, when they pull it out of the
Right,
hills
yeah.
all around there,
Mhm.
you have to have people to pull the bauxite out. So everybody wasn't growing sugar cane. Sugar cane was only grown where bananas didn't grow or coffee didn't grow or they couldn't pull something out of the ground.
Yeah.
So once they found out how much money they could make from the aluminum, they decided that they were going to start looking for other minerals.
Mhm.
That's how mining got started in Jamaica, and it was strip mining, and that's what still happens today. So the deal is this. Jamaica sits on a volcanic plate. Because it's on a volcanic plate, it is basically sand bottom silt. You dig down far enough, you're going to hit the ocean. So knowing that, people knew that the only way to build big was to go up. That's why having that mountaintop meant everything. So whomever controls the mountain controls the country. Why? Because they got the cleanest water, they got the best view, and they don't have to come down for nothing. But if you want to deal with them, you got to go up. So that is the story of why this is happening. And like he said, capture land, yeah, it was called capture land, but the deal is this. The colonialists cut it up. And Drax was one of these Englishmen who came to Jamaica and had several large plantations along the North Coast. Drax Hall was where his plantation house was. Now it's where there's a smelter and where the bauxite is smelted at, because this part right here is what really is the problem. Jamaica extracts its natural resources and ships them out instead of creating the final full product and then selling it. So when you ship out your natural resources, you are giving away your wealth. That's how Jamaica was established by the crown. So as a colony of the crown, Jamaica was there to sell certain things. We've talked about the story about the bananas over and over and over and over. The bananas started out at 7 cents a pound being shipped to England. All right. All of the bananas, every banana, everything from Portland, all of the coffee.
Okay.
That is how they broke up the plantations, was the people who they wanted to work on the Blue Mountain side. Some of those people refused to be involved in certain type of labor. Okay. So you have people who moved down to the beach who are not going to go through all of this crap that these British people were trying to put them through. And we remember the story of where they ran the ship by putting the lanterns on the rock on the other side of a rockabesa, and they had the ship, lured the ship to come there.
Well, you
Now,
see, the thing is
Rap.
that the Maroons stopped them from going up. So now they're going down. They're going to the coast. They're trying to get all the properties on the coastal areas because of tourism. Okay, that's what they're
no,
using.
that's
They're
not
using
why.
tourism.
That's not why.
Let me
That's not
answer.
That's not
Let me
why. That's
okay,
the
one
dispute.
moment.
Okay.
Let me answer a question posed by Don. He says, Lady D, are you implying that Jamaicans should be allowed to just build houses on lands that they have no legal documents before. No, that's not what I'm implying. What I'm saying is that, yeah, I went and I bought land. You may have land. Our families have land. But there are lands that are there that is not occupied and not owned by anyone. Okay? The government comes and they take up these lands, and because when they see that the land is worth something and they want to come and they want to sell this land, people that have moved there, they didn't just come and take the Simpson family land. They went and they got a piece of land and they started to build that didn't belong to anyone. The government now see an interest in this particular area, and now they want to bulldoze these people homes. Look how long these people have been there. Look, these sugar cane people, the sugar companies have left these families there. And now because they find interest in it, they want to come and bulldoze these people. And that's wrong. That's wrong. I'm not
Without
saying anyone
notification,
should be
proper
able to go
notification.
anywhere and erect homes on just anywhere, because of course I'll be upset if they came and they erected homes on my land, which I know persons who have erected homes on people that I
Okay,
know
but
of
Lady D,
land.
you right back to where I was at, where I was saying that all of these people that built these houses, these are people who were freed at the end of this colonialist series of crap. So these people own this land, but they could not get any titles, and they could not
And
get
they want to
anything,
call them
anything
captured
legal.
land. Yeah.
But it could be 3 or 4 generations that own the land. So now, when they see that they're going to make money off of it, these particular shady individuals are coming in and they are creating paperwork that never before existed. And then they are using eminent domain to take people's
Right.
homes.
And talk
That
about
in itself is
captured
the worst
land.
thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And then they use the phrase captured land. No one didn't capture these land. These people have been there. It's not like John left Trelawney and went to St. Anne's and saw a piece of property and wanted to build there. These are generational people in these places that they are now what would you say, classifying them as captured land because they want these land. How many land is in Jamaica that no one is claiming, that no one don't even go to?
Those are prime real
Yeah,
estate.
it's when it's
and that's
considered
like
to
the
be
one.
something prime, they come label it captured land.
Yeah.
Okay, they come it. There are so many land that people can go and live on that is not owned by anyone. That is not owned by anyone. But once the government finds an interest in these lands, they automatically label people captured land. They automatically label the area captured land because they have an interest in it. They have an interest in taking it. And such as the case with the Bernard Lodge area, such as the case of what they did over there in Ochi one of the time as well. And now over there that they're getting ready to do in Clarendon.
In December, yeah. In December, they're going to do that.
All these years, these people have been there. All of these boom teens years, these people have been there. And it has not been an issue until they want it. Where are their papers?
It's heritage property. It's heritage property that has direct access to the sea.
Okay. As soon as they want something, they automatically start to classify and call people, but you capture. Like, no, these people have been there. These people have been there. And it's wrong it's wrong for the prime minister and the parliament to go and knock down these people home because they want it. They're selling off the wallet all of Jamaica, and it's wrong what they are doing.
Wait. Lady D, just 1 second. I'm giving you a standing ovation because you are saying exactly what needs to be said. Now, I hope these other stations that are listening will say exactly what she said because she didn't miss a single word. She said it was the prime minister and other members of parliament We are not
Amen.
alleging. We are watching it on television.
Yes, yes. And it's all about money, and they're using tourism
They should have taken the
and building
time.
these
They should have
condos,
taken the
these
time to go and
bed and
sit
bath.
the same way when all the chaos after the backlash of what was done, then the prime minister of Jamaica is going to go down there and come try to sweet talk these people. Why weren't you there before the fact? Why did you not go
Okay.
down there before the fact and sit with these people? Because you labeled it as captured land. You labeled it as drug dealers and killers that are in the area when there's no such thing. But when these people started to speak up, you are they felt they knew that they knew that there was no going around it. So he's gonna come present himself in front of a. I mean, it's wrong and it's hurtful. It's hurtful. These people have been there for years. So no, once again, that I'm not saying anybody should be able to just go somewhere and be able to just erect something on somebody's property. But these people have been there for Wappy Kill Philip, generation to generation, and they have lived there, and it's wrong to label those areas captured because it was
Give
not
them the
captured.
opportunity to even
And
own
if it
own
is
these
captured,
properties.
and if it is
Mhm.
if it is supposed to be a captured land, then like you said, Queen,
Yeah,
go and speak with
yeah,
the residents that are there and say, listen, you're illegally here, but all right,
yeah,
I know that everyone needs a home. We don't want the
yeah.
homeless situation to continue. Persons all of
Okay.
downtown Kingston, all of them homeless people, all of these things. These people these people are not going and robbing and killing people to get what to build their home. They are hardworking people. Go down there and stand up there and talk to them and say to them, say XYZ. Let's come to an understanding
Hey,
instead of just going there and forcefully
the same way you
bulldozing
went
these people
after
places
the
because
fact.
you want to
Yes,
sell it.
yes,
Okay?
yes,
Blossom
yes.
says,
Agree.
if you're not paying the tax and they're paying the tax automatically, that's theirs. That's what they say.
Mhm.
All
Fact.
right. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this
Mhm.
because it's 9:38. I know we started half an hour late. But we're not going all the way to 10:30. We're gonna wrap. We're gonna wrap on this. Did anyone else want to say anything final in regards? Any of our listeners wanted to make a final comment before we move on from the illegal destruction of property? And then we're going into the mental illness and the world
Yeah,
No,
I
you
mental
could
just
go
want
right
to.
into
illness.
mental illness right now.
All right. Let's go straight into mental illness. Who's taking the floor first?
Go on, Acid.
Okay, here we go. We have recently seen a whole lot of crazy all over the place. We were just talking about the craziness that's going on in Jamaica with the prime minister and the parliament and what they're doing to the population. We didn't even talk about who the largest land
Oh,
purchasers and owners were in Jamaica recently. We'll get to that, but not this week. That is part of the whole craziness because we've noticed that there is a component to all these stories that just does not make sense. And it connected to me earlier this evening, and I just couldn't figure it out. It's the Chinese. I hate to say it. The Chinese, Kanye lived in China for more than a year. Yes, him and his mother. His mother was teaching at school there, and he learned Mandarin. He doesn't remember much of it, but yes, Kanye was in China. Now, also, the Chinese are manipulating the minds of a lot of people in Jamaica. We will not go off that list because we will be on here for 5 days naming everybody. Now, I want to just say I've noticed two things about some of the things that mental health seems to have triggered in America and some other places around the world too. Violence. I looked at a study about violence and guns, and it was released at the beginning of September. and there have been two more mass shootings since then. Every one of the mass shootings, every one of the mass shootings was committed by a young white male using some kind of an antidepressant or some other type of mood altering chemical, okay, or they're supposed to be. They're either using it or they're supposed to be using it. Now, I also made another surprising discovery, which made me kind of wonder, how does this all connect together? Quite a few of the older men who passed the laws on gun control and social justice in America, the Senate and the Congress in America, please don't forget to vote November 8th. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. That's why we're telling you this. They all seem to have mental conditions too. There are at least 3 of them who have been confirmed to be in dementia. They are not even there, but they're holding seats.
Mama Asid, before you
I
continue,
am
real quick, I apologize. I think I missed about 4 calls, and I've gotten a text that says that's what I was saying before. The English came to America and threw the people who was living there off their own land because they wanted it. Okay, so
right.
to the calls, I have my back turned, so I wasn't paying attention. I do apologize. Um, Blossom says this whole world have a mental problem. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
This whole world does have a mental problem. Go ahead, Acid. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's kind of the point right there. So, because mental health care is not included in most health policies, most people have neglected theirs for their entire life. Some people have been forced to address theirs. I'll hold up my hand there. And they are usually the people who have had problems early on, and because they addressed it, they were able to, figure out what to do in order to try to fix it. But if you don't, and you just go through your life like that, in a lot of cases, you're not just going through your life, you're making everybody else's life around you hell. So, looking at these statistics, I also saw something else. The majority of people that were killed were women and old people. Now, it takes a very special kind of person to kill a kid or an old person. Recently, we saw a policeman in Thailand go into a nursery school and kill 36 people and stab 32 of them because they were asleep and they were little children, 4 to 6 years old. Why did he do it? He was mad because he got fired from his job because he was stealing meth and using meth. Now, that's also a chemical, if I'm not mistaken, that originated somewhere in Europe because, if I'm not mistaken, Hitler's Hitler's troops were on it, and so was he. Now, any of these types of drugs that you see being used like this and they're in abundance in a population, it means that the population itself is on an unnatural link towards its own self-destruction because people are going too fast because they're not thinking, they're moving for the drug. And if enough of the population that's in control begins to function that way, as we can see they are, then everybody else underneath them almost ceases to exist. So America's dealing with a couple real big issues right now. One of them is aggression. And microaggression is more of a problem for most people because you don't usually get to a point with the present generation where there's a direct aggressive attack because they are able to avoid that by having no direct contact with you and doing everything either by phone or by email. So that's a different type of false courage. And you see, that type of false courage is what causes people to sit at their house and call the police and have someone swatted. Now, I didn't know anything about this until they almost killed that woman the other day. Now, there's been several people that had some real serious problems with this. And when you think about it, and you think about the fact that people are sitting at their house and they're calling the police, ordering the police to someone's house, saying that something dangerous or horrible is going on, and the police send a whole contingent of SWAT to your house, you you could die, and it costs a whole bunch of money. It's a lot of confusion. Everybody involved in it is got gonna have to feel away because suppose something really bad was happening at that same moment and it didn't get any attention because you were out here at a swatting car. This is how justice is served up in America. You got this girl who was missing for 2 days. They found her.
Yes,
They still don't know what happened to her. Right. She was just laying there dead for 2 days. She was just laying there dead for 2 days, and y'all claim y'all looking for her? What mindset is this? Okay? So what I'm talking about now is the lack of care for life. It's what we've been talking about the whole show. Corruption of the spirit, the lack of true love, and actually wanting other people to exist. Because it's like we were just talking about this whole land grab and people basically being put in a position where they have no control over what's happening with their lives. You know, that in itself is the quickest way to make people rebel because that's what happens when systems totally fail. Everything has failed. So what do? You react to the failure by trying to fix it yourself. And a whole bunch of people will engage a broken instrument in order to fix it. That's
Okay.
exactly what's happening now.
Okay, we have a comment. Donna Moody says there are a lot of mental defective individuals seated in the position of power. There is mental, I mean, you are totally correct, Donna, but
Yeah.
there is mental individuals in power. And as Mama Acid was even saying, some that is even senile that are in power. And oh, okay. So I
That's
do
why they're not doing
apologize for
anything
that,
about gun
Donna.
control.
Yeah.
For
Um,
example, Liz Truss in England, they're saying that she's incapable. But then when you think about it, it's not crazy. She was crazy why she quit after 44 days in power, in that post. She quit
Yep.
because it was too stressful for her. She went into a situation that she didn't know of. She didn't
yeah.
really understand the significance of being in that power and what it entails. She went in there. She couldn't deal with because they were gone. There was like 10% below
The
more or
minimum
less,
that they needed.
yeah, England. Okay, in England, I'm talking about England here. So she resigned. Now they're
Yeah,
fussing with her because
that's
she
healthy. I
resigned.
think that's
Well,
good.
she
Don't you
resigned
think
That's
because
that's
of
good?
yeah.
mental health issues. She could not deal with it. And I think it was good for her to resign instead of going through
Me too.
all that trauma,
Yeah.
not just coming from the public, but coming from her own party. Her own party
Right.
was bashing her for what she was
Yeah.
doing. And she went into a system that was already decaying, you know,
Yeah.
financially, socially, and in every other
Well, I'm
way.
glad that
So
she
she's telling
realized
them,
that. I'm glad she
mm,
realized that and got about the hot seat. I'm hoping
and
that
got out.
Herschel Walker,
Exactly.
I'm hoping that Herschel Walker
Exactly.
will get up out of this hot seat and stop making
No,
himself
Herschel
look like
Walker,
Or he's a
we
a
cannot
puppet.
total
pass by
He's
puppet.
a
him.
puppet.
He looks like a total puppet,
He's a puppet.
and where I feel the majority of this world have mental illness because when you see a person such as even Herschel Walker,
Hmm.
and you all, I've been reading a lot of statements in between, time last week, and when I see, when I see individuals in high places, and they're saying they don't care. They don't care about him Herschel threatening his wife, and they don't care about
Mhm.
nothing that he has done. Anything that he has done, they don't care about it. All they want is for him to be in office. That's sick. That's
Yeah.
mental. That because of a party, you are willing to put
Party. Uh-huh.
somebody who is not
Yeah.
capable of you putting a yes
Yeah.
boy in there. That's mental.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
mental. I mean, this whole the statements Kanye West be making, Candace Owens. I'm just wondering where are these people minds? Where really are
Oh,
these people
okay.
minds?
Can, can we go? Can we deal with that particular little picadillo, if you don't mind?
Yeah, let's deal with it. We have 9 minutes to go on the clock. Let's
Boy,
go
you are
on.
killing us tonight.
Yeah, I'm killing you. I'm
Wow.
going off
Okay,
of time
I'll be
tonight.
quick.
We're doing time
I will
tonight.
be
Go ahead.
quick. There are times when you suddenly understand what people are saying. So I am going to say, kids, please, if you are near the show, if you are listening, please walk away because I am going to say something for the adults. If he got angry with Amber Rose because he said he had to take 30 showers after being with Amber Rose in order to get with Kim Kardashian, and Kim Kardashian had made the most boring sex tape ever with Ray J that her mother, oh, her momager engineered the contract for, even directed and made sure where she wanted it dropped to engineer Kim's uh, entree into success. What type of mental and emotional disconnect do you have from reality that you would say you had to take 30 showers because you wanted to be with a white porn star? Now, I want to go into that even deeper. That in itself is bad, but the very fact that he said all this about Amber Rose broke every mirror in his house with one statement. She said, "That is all right. You just don't want nobody to play with your blank blank booty boy."
Listen, just the mental. I mean, all of them have mental issues. There,
But he's
it's
saying
just
But
the
he's
she
not
mental
was
thing.
mental.
honest. She was honest.
He
She said she
he came
responded to
on
him
he came on
as she
the
should have.
Tucker Carlson. He came on the Tucker Carlson show and
Yeah.
he said that he is not mental. He said he has a lot of issues going on with his wife and all the people around him and he's
He's
distressed
not married.
and that's all there is. He said,
Listen,
but he has a mind of his own and he's very smart. He said his father was in the Black Panther and he
listen. I
it's
think,
like
I
more or less
think,
you
I
saying that.
think everyone in this world has a mental
Mhm.
illness. It's just the level of it. It's just the level.
But here now, have you noticed that there are certain
Because
things that
there's
he
things
does
that I
that
may
really makes
see,
you?
there's things that I may see that is sane that another person may say, Shema dinner. So I mean, each and
But I'm saying it's certain things that he does that just don't make any sense at all. Why is he buying a white supremacist chat platform talking about he's protecting all speech by doing it?
because that's what because that's what he wants to do. And for
Yeah,
him,
that's what he's saying, more or less.
and
Mm.
for him, it's not, it's nothing wrong. So it's all of your level and how each and every one is seeing what is mental and what isn't for them. Is
Mm.
some persons will say, "Oh, well, I'm a man," when they're really a woman. Is that mental? Some persons, I mean,
Sanders.
mental illness is
I'm
is
on
is
this.
just is a wide thing. It's wide, and it's just the levels of it. It's really
All
the
right.
levels of it. Which person will want to marry someone whom is incarcerated, that may spend the rest of their life in jail? Why would you go and marry
That
someone who's
that is
incarcerated that's going
going
to
to
spend the
spend the
rest
rest of their life
that is
in
going to
jail.
spend the rest? Is that not someone that has issues?
But why would you travel from another country to meet this so-called person that you've never met in your life, talking about you feel like this is your soulmate, that
I
you don't
mean,
want anybody else in your life?
this whole world has,
You'll never even
including
be
me.
able to
I
be in
think
the same room with this person.
I may have some mental issues. I don't know. I may say things that
Well,
some
right now
persons
the
may say,
ABC,
that some
the
persons may say, Lady D, Madina.
Anti-Defamatory League, they are urging Adidas to reconsider supporting his product line and to issue a statement making clear that the Adidas company and communicating has no tolerance on anti-Semitism. So it's he's causing a lot of upstir. He's causing a lot of people to not to like him, and even that white power thing that he did on the t-shirts. Um, he's saying he just did that because he wanted to.
Yeah, he did it
Even
because he
though,
wanted to, but he's not the only one. He's not even the only one because, you have Bob Marley daughter. I mean, Bob Marley granddaughter
yeah,
that
true.
gravitated to that and was wearing the White Lives Matter t-shirts as well.
That
Hmm.
pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie.
She herself wore it. So is she mental? Don Minus says, Kanye, Herschel Walker, Candace Owens, and others like them do not speak for me as a black man. They do not. They
Hmm.
do not. They
Hmm.
don't speak. They most definitely do not speak for me. None of them.
Okay,
And I
so
don't
what what
understand the
what do you think?
mentality of people whom are thinking to even vote for someone such as Herschel Walker.
There we go. That's where I want to go.
I
Where do
don't
you think the
understand.
people's minds are that would vote for someone who thinks that the air in China is different than the air in America?
Blossom says, I have a mental problem. I I have a mental problem for stupidity. I
Yeah.
mean, who would
I
vote
was
for somebody
discussing this
who
earlier
is voting for
with
some?
someone.
You want to know the sickest thing of it all? I can see
Hmm.
Herschel Walker winning. Right now, the other day before yesterday, he was leading. After that debate that he did with Raphael Warnock, his with flashing his fake badge and all of these things, his ratings went up. Tell me if those people aren't mental. For them,
Okay.
Yep.
they're
Well,
not
this is
America
mental.
a
has.
statement.
For
These are
them,
a
Yeah.
statement that was made by someone. I thought she would have been because she was going to call in. But these are her statements. She said, Kanye, he understands the white people. Um, she's saying that you need to teach our kids about white America. She also told me that Herschel Walker is stupid, illiterate, and able to be controlled. Um,
yeah,
but she also said his political moves are his own demons.
yeah. And maybe she was one of the individuals that was trying to call. I missed a couple of calls
Okay.
because I wasn't paying attention to the board, and for some reason it's not ringing. I'm gonna
Okay.
have to, and that's
Yeah,
the
because
issue
she
with,
wanted to touch those
yeah, that was
issues
one of
and
the
wanted
issues
to
that was
comment on
going
those.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an issue with our
Oh,
system this morning, our telephone system, but we were
yeah.
able to.
Oh,
That's why we started late.
so
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
want to just ask one more question
go
because I
ahead.
know we got to wrap it up.
Mhm. Donna
These
Moody's
millionaires and billionaires.
Donna Moody says artificial photosynthesis changes the air. Okay, go ahead, Mama Acid.
Okay. Do you think that all these millionaires and billionaires that are basically earning thousands of dollars per minute while watching some of their workers work for less than a livable wage, do you think there's something different about them, or do you think that they have? I mean, like, do you think it's mental illness, or do you think that they're just like they just don't care about you know the
Wicked.
regular people who actually make all their money?
They just wicked. They just wicked. Mental illness is that gay guy I was talking about, where they chop him in his head, blow his brains out, and chop him in his head. After they shot him in his head, they chop his head up. That's mental illness.
Okay. Don, I just saw your message.
Okay.
Yes, I do apologize. Don was trying to call in as well. I got a text here as well that says, well, they're divorced now. Everyone has a little mental problem. That is why they can create all these building medicines and weapons and movies. Where is the mentality of people that creates all of these monsters and have these wicked, they put together these movies? I mean, these alien movies and these killing movies and these Western movies, where their minds are. Where are their minds?
They say
Mental
satanic.
illness.
Men-
Like Alfred
mental
Hitchcock.
illness
You
runs
remember
the
Alfred
world.
Hitchcock?
Mental illness runs the world. Look at Kim Jong Jong, however you say his name. In you would think half of them is just crazy.
They got
They thought Trump was
about
crazy.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Didn't he eat people?
I mean, the mentality of people these days, the world is crazy, and I don't know what we're going to do about it. I don't think there's anything that anyone can do about it.
You see, the crazies in high places, and because the crazies in high places, it's gonna continue.
Donna Moody says 9/11 was a movie. Donna Moody says 9/11 was a movie. And Donna, I mean, so many people text me and says Donna is one flew over the cuckoo nest. It's with having her daughter live in a house with the alien, but you know how you feel. You feel that 9/11 is a movie. There's persons that feels that actually experienced it. You know, like I said before, my niece worked there, and she is not an alien. There's persons. I had nieces, I had friends who were had to walk across the bridge because all traffic, everything was stopped. So for you believing that it is not an actual event, but persons really lived that event. So I mean, this world is full of madness. Donna says LOL. You know, Donna said LOL. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think this world is just a mental world.
It is becoming more and more angry, though. That's the part that's making me worried.
That is the issue.
Vladimir Putin,
brutal.
is one
It's coming evil.
So is that little guy over in North Korea. He wants to push the nuclear button too. If the two of them do it at the same time, the whole planet is gone.
It's becoming evil. It's evil as well as mental.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word.
It's becoming, the world is becoming so evil, wicked. Because although we had people with mental issues, the world wasn't so wicked. And we're going to leave. We're going to get ready. I'm going to let you all close out your statement. Donna said, no, it's not them then. I don't know what that is. Donna I'm not going to go into there with you, Donna, because I even said to Mama Asid and Queen earlier, well, is the mental illness, are these real aliens? Is that the aliens Donna's talking about? I said it to them this morning. When I was talking to Queen of Mama Acid, I said, well, I guess that's the aliens that Mama Acid's talking about, the people with the mental issues. Well, listen, let's close out, ladies. Let's close out. Donna says the World Trade Center demolition did not happen on 9/11.
A lot of people don't believe in this, but I do believe in the Bible. And I do believe of what I read, the word. And like lady always say, what he said, it goes so or it close
It
to
goes so
going
or it go
so.
near so. If
And
it no go so, it go near
exactly,
so. Yeah.
it got near. And I do believe that a lot of things that are happening now, it was preordained and it was written in the Bible millions of years ago, or thousands, however you want to put it, or thousands of years ago, it was written. So these things, and we're saying that it's a white man that wrote this, King James or whoever he is, wrote this book. But can you imagine him thinking of all of these things millions of thousands of years ago, thinking about these things and now they are coming true? Ah, or is it God? Hey, a foresight and man that is governing this universe. That is my intake in this, and I'm just saying, hey, just live upright, and just pray for the others.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. Acid.
Amen. All
Acid.
right, so I'm going to say thank you very much for listening in. Please subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, all the other platforms because you can find us there. And we're going to start publishing a blog weekly where we're going to write about what it is we talked about on the show. So
Yeah.
it'll be directly there with the file of you'll hear and see us together. We won't be in pictures, but we'll certainly be there to talk to you. In addition to that, we're going to be off the first week for um, technical reasons, and we'll be back hopefully the second week in November. Until
Yes.
then, we want you to be good. Remember that the world needs your kindness, and so many people are sick these days. You don't know if they're mentally ill or if they're just wicked, because as you've heard, these are some very serious times right now, and we want everybody to be safe, to take care of
Yeah.
themselves, to social distance, and just remember, try to think calm, think rational, and don't do anything that will put you in a position that you would have to then question your existence. That's not in the line of good thought, and we want everybody to stay positive. So thank you to all the people who listened in, from the people from Japan, the people from all over the world, especially the people over there in the UK who are now having the parties now that no one, as I said, could trust Liz Trust, because we all see now that we can't trust her. And then also to the folks at the barbershops all over, because we are now becoming popular in Texas at the barbershop and up in New York at the barbershop. What's up, y'all? And the people at Delta Airlines. Thank you very much, Delta, because you folks out there on those ramps listening to us, we really appreciate you because you're busy telling other people to listen to us in other cities.
Yeah.
So much. We love all y'all. And don't forget, stop by my Tumblr. I said Tumblr at awesomekemet.tumblr.com. My Etsy shop is open, and next show, we're going to be giving away some Etsy items. We're going to be giving away a gift card for a t-shirt
Yes.
and probably a piece of jewelry. So
Yes.
join us the second week in November on Thursday.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I once again
Yeah.
want to say um big ups to the victorious 89.1 FM family. We thank each and every one, Conyers, Covington, Macon, Monticello, all the areas that it reached, Stonecrest, for listening in to us through that outlet. For each and everyone listening to us via our telephone line 667-930-9036, our tuning app, and also our website, www.dapowerhouseradio.com. We want to thank each and everyone for listening, tuning in to us through all of those outlets as well. We want to say big shouts to all of our sponsors. Big ups to you all. Unique Total Care, we want to say big shouts to you. They are hiring for aides, or for persons with experience dealing with the handicap population. The number, if you're interested in any positions, it is 470-546-8686. That's 470-546-8686 right here in Atlanta. Want to say big shouts to One by One Kia, Hinkson Law Firm, Mystique Enterprise, Recycle Flockery, and Unique Total Care, and also the Victorious Radio for continuing to sponsoring all of our program. To get messages to us, please go to DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. That's DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. And listen to all of the fantabulous programmings that are right here. I'm kicking it off with Let's Gripe on a Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. Reasoning Thursdays, as you're listening now, 8 until we say when. And the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion, Saturday mornings, 9 to 11. Yours truly, Lady D. Definitely, Winston, the Bishop Blair came back on last week. So he's back up and his system is working. The Lady D show on Saturdays from 12 to 4 p.m. Your news, views, interviews, joke of the day, what you know about it. Did you know all of those things? All About Love will be coming back the second week of November as well. So make sure that you check out our Gospel Sunday mornings with the Gospel Vibes crew, Master Delroy Delingo. And that's from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then we go into the House of the Lord with Hope Redemption Worship Center from 11 a.m. until 1. We just want to thank you. Donna wanted to answer your question as to Donna says the World Trade Center demolition did not happen on 9/11. I'm telling you, it's Dynasty 9 and Dynasty 11. Ancient War, Dynasty 9 and Dynasty 11. It's the dynasty, y'all. You see how they are saying I'm mental. That's okay. Just give me my legacy. Broke pocket. We were all asleep. Gizaro did ground zero. Nassau had full coverage. Well, you know what? I'm not knocking whatever you're saying. I know that we had people walking across on the bridges and all those stuff, friends and family and so on. So I think that something did happen on 9/11. And sometime when I look at some of the things that you say, Donna, it brings me always back to the Matrix. Where some persons are plugged in and some persons are plugged out. So I don't know if we're just plugged in and you are plugged out. You are one of the what is his name? Zeus. What is his name? and all of them. But you know, your theory is your theory. She says she's going to send me a video. So when Donna sends me the video, she says, I'm going to send you a video. So when she sends me a video, then I would definitely pass on that information to each and every one of you. Don Minot, Sybil, Juliet, each and every one that commented. We want to say big shouts to you as well. And thank you for commenting on our program. To Shauna McFarland, want to say big shouts to you and thank you as well for commenting. Once again, DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. Dr. J, big up yourself. Blossom, big up yourself. Each and every one. Sister Julie, big up yourself. We love you all. We're leaving out. Share the links. Please share the links. Go to our YouTube channel as Mama Acid advised. Go to our YouTube channel and like, subscribe, and all of these things. We need your support. We need to get those numbers up on the YouTube channel. So definitely, please share, like, subscribe. As we leave out, we're just gonna go on with what we gonna leave out with. We're gonna leave out with Don. Since Don was on the line with us, I guess we could leave out with some
Yeah.
Don, right? Love is the answer, I think, is the one I'm gonna leave out with. Because I think love is definitely the answer. And love is a beautiful thing. Love you all.
Yeah.
Good night. Ciao, ciao.
Good night.
Until next week, if not before that, same place, same time, and same station. Ciao, ciao.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, hey. All around the world, people searching for love. I still can't find no peace of mind. Cause there ain't no love. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Give someone an helping hand. Try and do the very best you can. Cause we can't go on living like this. Without love, I say we can't exist. Love is the answer. Hey. Love is the answer. Throw away the bombs, throw away the guns. Killing people ain't no fun. To all politicians, stop the war in the motherland. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. All around the world, people searching for love. They still can't find no peace of mind. Cause there ain't no love. Love is the answer.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
Love is the answer.
89.1 WAME.
Gotta make a way, make a way for love.
Community nation.
Gotta make a way, make a day for love. Gotta make a way, make a day for love. Gotta make a way, make a day for love. Hey. Love is the answer.